been driving down this old road for so long I don't know when. If I could go back in time, you know I'd do it all again. I grew up breathing diesel, driving steel and chrome. You know I worked damn hard to get where I'm at, and I did it on my own. Cause I'm a wheel burner, I was burning down the road.
I'm a wheel burner. Pretty good tune, eh? How we doing today, wheel burners? I'm just jamming along to the wheel burner song. I had a couple of questions in the last video. We used that on the last video, and I got a couple of questions saying, did I write that song? And I'd love to take credit and say, yeah, I did, but no, man, I did not. That song was actually written, composed, played, recorded, everything by one of my best friends. His name is Mike Campbell. And he was sitting around one day with his daughter, Kara, and just out of nowhere, I didn't ask him or nothing. He's thinking, you know what, Brown, you need a theme song. So they put that together. It took him about 15, 20 minutes to put that together with Kara, and they jammed it out. And then he's got a small little, an amateur type recording deal thing that he's got in his basement there. And so he put that together for me, and he sent it to me, and we used it, and it's really, really cool. So, yeah, that's my buddy Mike. I can always count on Mike for something cool. Anyway, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that, brother. And for those of you that kind of like the song, that asked the question, Mikey's got his own YouTube channel. Now, it's not something that he pushes. It's not something that he's really active on, but he does throw up the odd piece of music that he does. He does record some of his own. He does some covers. But, you can go check him out over on YouTube as well at Michael David Campbell. He's got some really good stuff over there. Really creative guy. One of the best guitar players you've ever heard in your life. And I mean, like, professionally, like one of the best guitar players you will ever hear. So anyway, as you can see, I'm outside, and I'm not shivering, but I've got this little chill going on. It is cold. It is, what is it? It's 16 degrees Celsius here. So what's that? 3 degrees Fahrenheit. But as you can see, we got blue skies and sunshine, and there's no wind. So it's actually not a bad day. As long as the wind doesn't blow, we're okay, right? So I just thought I'd come out and we'd do something really easy. Because when I parked my truck, I really didn't expect to be having it parked so long. I parked the truck on the 22nd of December, and then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be off for the week of, Christmas. Every year I take Christmas and New Year's off. So I take off the week between Christmas and New Year's. And then usually around January 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, I start, depending on the week time, what day in the week it is, I go back to work, and I'm hammered down and get going. But here I am with blood clots, so I'm not going anywhere. So we've had to do some stuff to the truck to make sure it's winterized. And I don't mean like winterize it like I'm going to be parking it for 6 months in the winter and buggering off down to Panama, which I really wouldn't mind doing. But we do have to do a couple of things, just preventative, to make sure that, when it comes time for me to get back in the truck and go back to work, and the doc says, okay, Bri, go, that we're good to go. So the first thing we did, I say we, but it's me. But the first thing I did when to winterize it or to get it prepared to sit for a while, is fuel treatment. Like I said, today's actually the warmest day at minus 16. We've been minus 35, minus 38 for the last 5 or 6 days here, consistently. So it's been damn cold here. So what did I do? Treat the fuel. Measure out, figure out how much fuel you got in your tanks, and get your diesel treatment. Now, it doesn't matter what kind you use. I myself personally, I prefer house, and that's what I use. And I'm obviously not getting paid to plug this stuff, but this is what I use. I've been using it for as long as I've been owning trucks. It's been going into my tanks, and I've never had an issue with it. But if House has it, Lucas has it, Diesel 911, they've got different versions of it. Whatever you're using, use it. But when you get into those temperatures, treat your fuel. And why do we treat fuel, folks? If you don't know, come on. We treat fuel because of paraffin wax. All diesel fuel has paraffin wax in it, and the colder it gets, it's like any kind of wax. When it's warm, it's soluble. It's soft. Any kind of wax, in your fuel, as long as your fuel's warm, the wax is working and everything. And the wax in diesel is for lubrication. The paraffin is for lubrication. But when it gets cold, like any kind of wax, when you blow your candle out, the wax gets hard, right? Well, at minus 30, I guarantee you that wax is getting cold. And then what happens when that happens? That's when you hear about, you get your fuel gels up. And that's what gelling is. You know, you're basically, your fuel turns into wax. It's a lack of a better way to put it. And then you got to treat it with 100 other things. You got to change your fuel filter. You got to change your water separator. You got to change all of that stuff, and just to get your truck running again. I know that Diesel 911 has a really good treatment for that. It does take some time, but it will get you rolling again. So I just use the bottle. I just use House. It went into the tanks. I run the engine, make sure it's through all the lines. It's in through the engine. It's everywhere. And then the next thing we did, and we're going to take you down there now because I'm just on the other side of the driveway, but I'm going to take you to the other side of the truck, is we changed the water separator. So let's go do that right now. So as you can see, we've got the water separator. It's already been changed. It's got a nice new clean filter inside of there. And again, why do we do that? Now, even though my fuel has been treated, I didn't want to take any chances. Part of the separator is actually, the fuel line is below either way. I didn't take the chance. I changed it. I don't want any kind of ice crystals or any kind of water that may already be in there. I don't want it to freeze. I don't want a problem. So we drain the filter, drain the separator, change the filter, put it back on, filled it back up with fuel, ran the engine, ran a cycle. She started, no problem. Everything is good. So that was the second thing we did, just to make sure. That's just a safety thing. I don't want to be driving down the road and have an issue with that. Now, the next thing that I checked, this is not something that I necessarily had to do or change, but I always check my coolant system. Okay, and what am I looking for? I check my rev. First of all, just stick your head underneath if you can. Just take a look down underneath. Now, I'm not climbing down under there. I've already done that, but make sure that you've got no leaks. Make sure there's nothing dripping, nothing. Cold leaks are a bitch, man. Your engine can run fine for a week. You can have it running for a week in cold weather, and you don't shut it off, and then you get home, you park it in your driveway, and 12 hours later you come out and you got a nice little puddle under your truck, and cold leaks are a bitch. So first thing you do, like I said, this truck hasn't run in a few days now, so check your coolant level. Well, my coolant level is pinpoint perfect on that. But I'm also going to check all of my hoses, all of my coolant hoses, check my cap, check everything. And I've already done all this, but check your rad. Anywhere that there is a hose, plastic or rubber hose coming off and running your that runs around your coolant system, check it. Because, like I said, this truck has been sitting. It hasn't done any serious driving since December 22nd. So I check the hoses, because what happens with plastic or rubber when it sits for a long time in cold, it becomes brittle, right? And then you'll start the truck, and that's when you'll have problems, because things will start to expand after they've been brittle, and then you've got an issue. So we're just going to go take a look around the other side here. Just get my wife to wash her car, eh? Whew. Oh, it's a beautiful day. There we go. So yeah, all of the hoses, anything to do, that's a rubber hose. Look at that rubber. Look at that, nice and still ply. Good. Good. Nothing's hard. Nothing's brittle. Nothing's perfect. That's good. Now, just for safety's sake, or for peace of, not safety, but just for peace of mind, I went and changed the fuel filter, but I'm not climbing under there again to show you that. But we did. We changed the fuel filter on this thing as well. So yeah, check your entire coolant system. The last thing you need is an issue with any kind of problems with your coolant. And you're not going to discover it when you start the truck up and after 15 minutes it's idling. You're going to have a problem when you've got to the yard, you've got your load on, and you're 200 miles down the road. That's when you're going to have a problem. Also check all your clamps. Anything that has a clamp on it. See these little clamps? Clamp here, check all of your clamps. Just, you know what, they might need to be retightened. Just give them a quick little, you don't have to tighten them. You know, if you go to put your screwdriver in, you go to turn it and it doesn't want to turn, good, it's tight, fine. But if there's any play in it, just tighten them up. So yeah, just check your coolant system. That's a big one for me as well. I don't mess around with my coolant system. Believe me, it's left me on the side of the road before. Now, another quick thing you can do, now I didn't do it, but because I did it a week before I parked it, but wash your truck. And this was always told to me by the old timers, if you're gonna sit your truck for any more than a week or so, in the winter time, wash it. What happens if you don't wash it in the winter? Well, in Ontario, we use a lot of salt. Now, as you can see, the frame on this, it's not that bad, but it's dirty. It probably could use a wash. I'm thinking this afternoon, the truck probably needs to go for a rip. Just get it out on the highway. I'll get it out of the country here, down onto the highway, and probably put about, I don't know, 45 miles on it out and 45 miles back, just to get the truck, make sure the truck knows it's a truck and it's going to work when I want it to. But just knock the salt off the frame. Most important is the frame. The body on these trucks, most of them are plastic now, so you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, knock all the salt off your frame all the way up, all the way under. Get the guys, if you're not washing it yourself, if you're taking it to a beacon or something like that, get the guys to get as close all the way underneath as you can. Get them to throw your hood open, well, they usually do anyway, and just get the truck washed. Knock the salt off, knock the dirt off. There's nothing worse for a truck than salt sitting on the frame for an extended period of time, because even though it seems like it's dry, that salt on there is still active and it's eating. Believe it or not, that's what it's doing. It's eating away at your frame. So yeah, go get your truck washed. That one's easy. It's gonna cost you maybe 60, 70 bucks. Go get your truck washed. It's well worth it. So the next thing I check and take a look at is my batteries. I'm going to be sitting for a while, so I don't want any problems with my batteries. Now, I'm lucky with this truck here. I've got the option. I've got the disconnect switch. I don't have to pull the grounds. I don't have to pull the wires off the batteries. But I check my batteries before I park the truck. I know that they're in good shape. I know how old the batteries are, so they're only about halfway through their life cycle right now. So I don't have to worry about that. It's not like I've got any bad batteries. Before I came up here, I had the shop check them because I knew I was parking it for a week. But that's just, you know, for my sake of mind, or peace of mind. So the batteries on this are good. So once I got home here, I disconnected them. But with most trucks, now this one here, my battery system is self-contained, meaning that I have the full cover on the top of the batteries. It's all encased and it's closed up. No moisture, no water, no crap gets in there. You can really quickly just take a quick look, you know, pop the two front latches and lift it, and you can take a look and see, you know, how bad it is in there, if it's dirty or not. Mine was good. I didn't have to worry about it. But if you don't have that, if you've got any of the old K-Whoppers or anything like that, and your batteries are sitting inside your step, you know that they're covered in crap. Even my Volvo was like that. I was covered, you know, it was covered in crap. I'd clean them off. If you're going to park it, just give your terminals a good clean. Give the whole battery area, all your batteries, a good cleaning. Clean them all out. Make sure your terminals are good, and make sure all your connections are good. If you don't have a battery disconnect and you're going to be parking your truck for, say, 4 weeks, just disconnect your batteries. You know, it's not going to hurt the batteries at all. Just disconnect the batteries. Pull the battery cables off it. That way you don't have any slow draws on it. Your batteries aren't just trickling out on you over a month. So this one here, like I said, I got the option. I can hit the battery kill switch, so it just kills the battery power to everything. There's nothing inside this truck right now that's running via the batteries. So I would do that. Check your batteries before you park it. Make sure they're in good shape, and then also clean them. Make sure they're good, they're clean, they're scrubbed, and you won't have an issue. The last thing that I did do, and I don't know if you have this option, is this thing comes with a block heater. So I've got it plugged in. In minus 30, minus 35, minus 40, plug it in. You know what? I don't care what the power, you know, how much power it draws. It's not going to put my house, you know, my hydro bill over the top by having my truck plugged in. So I've had it plugged in pretty much since it's been home, unless I've been starting it or taking it. I had to take it up the road there the other day to do something with it. But other than that, I keep it plugged in. That just keeps it's not going to keep your engine warm at minus 30, but it will keep it, you know, it's not going to be an ice cube, and it's not going to be a block of ice when you go to start it. So there you go. There's some free ones. That's nice and easy. This is kind of short. But if you're going to park your truck, that's what I did. If there's any other ideas you've got or anything that's, you know, relatively cheap and easy and it's not going to break the bank, throw a comment down, send me an email, whatever you want to do. I'll get back to you. Ideas are appreciated. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and man, we will see you down the road.